Now at 6, the city of Girard offers training to earn a commercial driver's license. We'll tell you how. And how the heat affects livestock and owners at the Newton County Fair.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A federal judge has sentenced 3 people for taking part in a $1 million check kiting scheme in Commerce, Oklahoma. This is KOAM News at 6. Authorities say 53-year-old John Linthicum was seeing a drop in revenue from his cattle business, so he had 53-year-old Douglas Mayfield write insufficiently funded checks that Linthicum deposited into his bank account at First State Bank of Commerce. Authorities say 61-year-old Angela Asbell worked for both the bank and Linthicum's business and used these positions to pass those bogus checks. All 3 pled guilty to conspiracy to commit bank fraud. Linthicum was sentenced to 27 months in prison, Mayfield to 6 months of home detention. Asbell received 5 months in prison, followed by 5 months of home detention. It's commonly called brain-eating amoeba. The Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services has been notified of a Missouri resident with a confirmed infection of Naegleria fowleri. That's a free-living amoeba that can cause a rare, life-threatening infection of the brain. The amoeba is commonly found in warm freshwater, such as lakes, rivers, ponds. However, it is extremely rare for one to catch it. Only 154 known cases have been identified in the entire U.S., and the only other case identified for a Missouri resident happened in 1987.
And that's despite the fact that there's hundreds of millions of visits to water venues across the country and including in Missouri. So I think it's important to be aware and knowledgeable of the symptoms. But on the other hand, I think it's important to keep the risk in context as far as how rare this condition is.
Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt is calling for a special audit of Tulsa public schools for what he says is a potential mishandling of public funds. Stitt says he ordered the audit at the request of 2 Tulsa school board members. They wrote to Stitt on July 1st to complain that state contract laws might have been violated. Stitt also raised concerns that the school might be violating a new state law that he signed after the legislature passed it just this year. It prohibits the teaching of certain concepts of race and racism. We have some relief in sight from the heat. Nick Kelly.
But we had to start this weekend out, Dow. We had another hot and humid day on our hands. Even though it looks nice for 7th and Rangeline, we're seeing those numbers still running quite high enough that we still have these heat advisories and excessive heat warnings for a good portion of the area to take us until about 9 o'clock tonight. But that's going to expire at 9 because of the same reason that we saw rain and thunderstorms in some parts of the area this morning. A cold front finally pushing on through. We're not talking about a drastic drop in temperatures, but we are going to see the thermometer lower south throughout the course of the weekend, and not to mention that northerly breeze finally bringing in some drier air to eat away at this humidity. It's still in place still. In fact, temperatures in the mid to upper 90s and the humidity make it feel like the lower triple digits for a good portion of the area. Fortunately, once we get past sunset, we'll fall from the 90s through the 80s, down to about 73 for tonight, Dow, and we'll see how long this break from the relentless heat and humidity will hold here in a bit.
Catch you then. If you've ever wanted to get the training needed to operate a semi-truck, well, guess what? Local Town is now providing it. The city of Girard, Kansas is offering CDL license training to people who are interested. The city's CDL instructor, Michael Clark, says there is a theory test you have to pass before testing for the CDL license.
If you're wanting to get your CDL, you have to go through a federally approved curriculum. So what I did is I got to purchase the rights to J.J. Keller, which is a curriculum that Johnson County uses. So I went ahead and decided to purchase the rights to that and kind of adopt some of their methods. And I created 4 tests and 1 final. And you have to score an 80% or higher on the theory side of the class before you're allowed to move on or even allowed to test for your CDL. Once you pass my theory side, we go out and do behind the wheel training, and then we also do range training.
That trainer Michael Clark says safety is his main priority when it comes to truck driving and training. The Wildcat Glades Friends Group helps make sure Joplin's Wildcat Glade stays clean and safe for all of us to enjoy. But since they're a nonprofit, they occasionally need donations or host fundraising events like they did today. The group hosted a rummage sale of various items donated by members of the community, with all the proceeds going back to the park.
We are a wasteful nation, and this is one way that we can kind of minimize some of that waste. Let's get it into the hands of people who can use this or repurpose it. We're really big repurposers too.
That sale is going to continue tomorrow at the IBEW Hall in Joplin. That's at 3316 Hearns Boulevard. Coming up, a look at the Frontenac Mining Days festivities going on through the weekend. Plus, we're going to hear from some competitors at the Newton County Fair on how they help the livestock handle the heat. Hey, if you're looking for something to do tonight, you might want to check this out. You can find plenty of things to do in downtown Frontenac, Kansas. This is a live look. The city is hosting their 3-day Mining Days event. It celebrates the city's heritage and includes activities such as a carnival, live bands, historic presentations. It goes until 10 p.m. tonight, but if you can't make it tonight, you're good. You have all weekend to check it out. It starts at 5 p.m. and then tomorrow night, there's going to be a fireworks show at 10 p.m. in case you didn't get enough on Monday. Neosho, Missouri hosted day 3 of the Newton County Fair. Reporter Bella Line looks at how livestock owners are handling the July heat.
At the Newton County Fair, competitors from all over the 4-state area are looking for creative ways to keep their livestock cool in this extreme heat.
The heat can affect many aspects of the competition. Devin Beckett and his siblings have prepared their livestock all year, but no one can prepare for the harsh conditions.
It'll affect how they look. You want them to look, the combs and models, you want them to look red and kind of shiny, and then their feathers will get kind of ruffled up because they're getting hot and they want to cool down,
Fans can be found all over the fairgrounds for visitors and animals to use, but some animals have special ways to cool down, like iced water bottles for rabbits, cooler rooms for larger animals, and being hosed down with cold water.
We usually just have like water buckets, and we don't have like any specialty thing like bunnies or sheep or hogs have. But last night I was working with them in the ring, and they were kind of acting up as I was practicing, but hopefully they'll do good today.
Keeping the livestock well cared for and cool is the participants' main priority in hopes to win Best in Show.
Reporting in Neosho, Missouri, I'm Bella Line, KOAM News.
That fair ends tomorrow and supports the local Future Farmers of America high school programs. This intense heat's also bearing down on local food trucks. As you might imagine, several trucks have had to close early the past few days because of the combination of hot cooking equipment and limited air conditioning. It makes things unbearable inside sometimes. The Fried Fancies was in Carthage today. Its owner says they use a few methods to cool down.
For one, we don't allow the word hot in our food truck because that's a bad word. So we have like tons of fans and we keep hydrated with water. And now the kiddie pool is open, so I might have to go over there and put my feet in the water.
Good advice. I think she just used the word hot inside that truck, however. But Fried Fancies and several other food trucks were in Carthage for the city's Food Truck Friday event. Check them out sometime. Crowder College head baseball coach Travis Lallemand is headed to the Region 16 Hall of Fame. Lallemand has spent the past 17 years leading the Rough Riders baseball program. In those 17 years, the team has won more than 700 games, including 7 Region 16 titles. They've also made 4 trips to the Junior College World Series. Lallemand credits his players, assistant coaches, and his family for the success of the program over these last 17 years.
The players and the coaches I've had have been a great support, and they've done a lot to make that happen. And I'm just the party that guides it from the front, I guess. But it does mean a lot of years of service to come from the peers and all the years and all the sacrifice that my family has made time-wise to be able to do this job on a daily basis.
A little bit later, how a police shortage is affecting the country, including in Kansas City, Missouri.
Plus, it's hot and humid to start the evening up, but we are getting some relief for the weekend. Forecast next. Mother Nature just keeps giving us the same song and dance, and that means yet another hot and humid afternoon across the entire area. The first impressions, though, over the past 36 hours shows that after we saw yesterday's highs in the lower triple digits, we did drop back at least into the 80s this morning and haven't officially hit 100 yet, at least from first impressions to Joppa Regional. But even if we didn't, it was hot and humid enough that these heat advisories and heat warnings, a scattered patchwork of them, continue until about we hit 9 o'clock as we go into this evening. But some thankful changes pushing through. As Doug mentioned the other night, we had a cold front come on through earlier today. That's what gave some of us some scattered rain and storms. And ultimately, it's going to bring in some drier air to at least give us a break from the excessive humidity and even some of the excessive heat as well. The rain this morning, though, at least we got something out of it. A tenth of an inch of rain on the average. You can definitely see some heavier pockets scattered across parts of the area. First impressions of the radar network not showing a lot right now, but with the front still nearby, I have been noticing a few echoes trying to pop up south of 44 in southwestern Missouri. Maybe a quick shower southeast in Neosho and another shower trying to develop around Monette and Pierce City on the Berry-Lawrence County line. In fact, I think we're trying to see some of those clouds from that developing shower around Pierce City from our vantage point of Lander Chevy Cadillac on the southeast side of Joplin. Everyone else, though, is looking mostly sunny. Certainly does from 7th and Range line, 94 degrees with the north breeze at 16. Not pulling in enough dry air just yet. The dew points in the mid-70s, still feels like 104 in Joplin. Everyone in the lower to middle 90s for the most part now, but still feels like the triple digits no matter where you are across the area. Ultimately, though, we'll go from the 90s down through the 80s this evening, down to about 73 tonight. Finally, a chance to really cool down after we've had yet another hot and sweltering day. Here's our surface setup. Here's the front that pushed on through, the front that's trying to fire off maybe a random storm or two closer to the Missouri-Arkansas line. But the front, the air behind it, and with this retreating upper level ridge temporarily, that's what's going to give us at least lower temperatures and certainly drier air as this north breeze continues to pull in said dry air. Everybody is staying warm by 11 o'clock. We'll still be right around 80, but we'll all drop back to about 73 in the morning. And I think we're looking okay for tomorrow, not only with mostly sunny skies, but temperatures looking a lot better. Instead of temperatures pushing near 100, how about we start at 73 in the morning, 85 by noon, highs are 89. That's still pretty warm, but hey, I'll take it for sure if it gives us a break from the heat and humidity. We'll drop back into the 60s for Sunday morning. I'm thinking upper 60s. And then we've got lower 90s trying to return, but not so much in the way of humidity. But you can see on the extended forecast, we'll be pushing near 97 as the ridge tries to build back in. Humidity might make it feel like 102 for Monday afternoon, then another front with maybe some storms on Tuesday. That gives us another bump down with temperatures thankfully down. 90 on Tuesday and Wednesday, and every time we get a front coming through, morning lows will sneak back into the upper 60s for some of these nights coming up.
I mean, it's like open your windows, cool. Or at least briefly, for maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, but there's a time.
Yeah, like, well, hey, it's rare we can do that for July, so we'll take it.
Agreed. Yeah. Thanks. Hey, a big update on our More Power project. Today we put up the antenna for KFJX at the very tip top of our tower. That gets us very close to the point where we can boost the transmitting power for both KFJX and KOAM TV. We are genuinely excited about this. You should be too. Keep an eye on our social media for updates on when the new signal goes live. This new, more powerful signal. It could be sooner rather than later. Check out the progress anytime on our website, koamnewsnow.com/power. Still ahead, how a staffing shortage is impacting a Missouri police station. Law enforcement, like a whole lot of American industries, dealing with labor shortages. Police departments all across our country, including in Kansas City, Missouri, are struggling to fill critical staff positions. Ryan Young looks at some ways they're trying to recruit new talent.
More shootings and more 911 calls have police departments around the country struggling to meet the growing need, with departments stretched thin.
Kansas City 911, call taker 22.
Heading into a busy summer where calls for 911 emergency service spike.
Is she threatening or fighting with anybody right now?
So not only are you dealing with shortages out there in the field, but in this room.
The people work here are working long hours, extra overtime to cover other shifts, but we have to have someone answering the call, so it's a critical.
The worker shortage is already disrupting public safety around the country by causing delays in law enforcement response times and a reduction in detectives working cases.
Where has the American workforce gone? It's like they just vanished. And obviously police, we're not immune to it.
In Kansas City, Missouri, Mayor Quentin Lucas is seeing a shortage across all open jobs, but tells us hiring more recruits in this tough market is a top priority.
Things will not be perfect tomorrow. We will not have enough officers tomorrow. But more than anything, that we need to all try to make sure we're helping other folks know that policing is a good path. It is a good pursuit.
Law enforcement departments are now offering hiring bonuses as high as $20,000. And some departments have started paying bonuses to keep current officers. In Portland, Oregon, they are short 108 officers. In Dallas, they are short 550 officers. And in Kansas City, Missouri, they are short some 224 officers. While in Atlanta, the new mayor says he has immediate openings.
I'm looking for 250 officers, and we're finding them. People are answering the call. They're saying they want to serve their city.
One of the challenges now is every police department is looking for the same group of talented, motivated individuals that have a heart to serve.
So right now we're looking at military bases, always been a step, but also HBCUs. We can't just talk about getting more officers of color. We're going to the campuses, talk to them about policing, about the work that we do.
But I think what we do sometimes is we like to wait around for the people at the top to change the culture.
Caliber Press, a law enforcement training group, is helping teach police departments.
So if we're talking about recruiting today,
to reach more applicants.
I can legitimately go out there and be the change that the community wants to see without anybody even having to impress upon me what I need to do.
That ripple effect of the workload and stress that is being placed on police officers has increased to our current staffing as well as what is applying. So we're kind of in a perfect storm right now.
Final check of the weather next. Take time now to honor a local veteran. Jess Barrett served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1943 to 1945. His hometown, Galena, Kansas, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Jess Barrett, a four-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 tonight. Some former Southeast Kansas basketball standouts host a youth camp in Parsons. Plus, we're going to have reaction to President Biden's executive action aimed at preserving abortion rights. And a look at NASA's new space telescope offering clearer images of our solar system and beyond, like way, way beyond. Those stories, a lot more tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Sticking to our immediate vicinity of this solar system.
Yeah, back here on Earth.
The weather looking more promising in the days ahead.
Yeah, drier air and at least a break from the excessive heat. In fact, I think for the first time in a while, I'm thinking highs in the upper 80s for tomorrow with mostly sunny skies. Back to 92 Sunday, 97, a little more humidity on Monday, but then another front knocks us back near 90 for Tuesday and Wednesday. And every time we get a front coming through now, a couple nights after the front, lows in the 60s.
Wow. They call them a cold front, and even if it's just a bit cooler front, that is certainly welcome.
Yes, it is.
Hey, a reminder, Frontenac Mining Days is still going on. The city's hosting their second annual 3-day Mining Days event. It includes, as we said, carnival, live bands, historic presentations. Goes until 10 tonight, also through the weekend. This is a live image. We're going to show you more as we close. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service